So as our year is coming to a close at New Beginnings, we'd like to focus on a really special case that we took on this year. It was quite a large project. Early, I want to say March, April, we got contacted by Oakland County. There was a breeder that turned hoarder and had quite a few cats. In fact, the owner said that she didn't even know how many was in her home. So Oakland County had stepped in and pulled a majority of the cats, but unfortunately, once they were doing evaluations, they realized that they had ringworm. So they kind of put a wide reach out, and Jen came to me and asked if we wanted to give this a whirl. I did a lot of research about ringworm and what we were kind of getting into, so that when we found fosters, we would be able to coach them every step of the way, along with ourselves. So we asked our Facebook family if anyone was interested, and we had 2 families out of the gate, so we pulled 4, and then we had even more positive response. So we ended up saving in total 11 cats.
I didn't really know much about ringworm, but I did my research and I told my husband, like, okay, we'll just keep them in quarantine. It's totally fine. And he was really skeptical at first, but then we went to the vet and got Dinah, and she was pregnant, and they weren't sure. Well, they told me that she definitely had ringworm at the time, and it was just a matter of getting the cultures back to confirm.
When they brought them in, they didn't have names. They were just like Kitty 1 and Kitty 2 or something like that. So they were beautiful, beautiful cats. I named them Blue and Pumpkin because Blue had blue eyes and Pumpkin had these crazy orange eyes. So I thought that was a great name. Orange didn't seem to work, so Pumpkin worked really well.
So we took in Ruby and Lucy, 2 pregnant moms, and if you've ever met the 2 of them, you know that Ruby's really, really shy and Lucy's a little pistol. And we got them when they were about, let's see, Ruby was 2 weeks away from giving birth and Lucy was about a month away, I believe. And we did know that they were exposed to ringworm, so we started giving them baths once a week right away.
And I tried to spend some time with her, you know, a few times a day because she was by herself and she was really scared. She didn't eat for like maybe a day and a half. But little by little, she started warming up to me.
They both really did not like me at all. They hissed and they hid, but I knew my job was really just to get them healthy so that they could go to a forever home.
I thought we were going to be doing about 6 to 7 treatments with her. They had shaved her initially at the vet to get rid of all of her long fur for the most part. And then I was told she'd have about 6 to 7 treatments of the lime dip, where she basically gets dunked in this solution and then has to like air dry. And we had to do that once a week.
I knew that I would have to give them a bath for the first, it was either 2 or 4 weeks, and then they would have a skin culture or something like that done, and then we would know if they had ringworm still or not. And then it could be up to 8 weeks or 8 weeks or more. So basically every time those poor cats, you know, I tried to be friendly with them and everything, but really I think all they remember about me and my husband is that we were geared up with our stuff on and ready to grab them and take them and dump them in water, and stinky water, sulfur water.
So we kept dipping and dipping, and then Ruby gave birth, and we continued to dip them even after that. And then we just, after much deliberation, decided, you know, I think we'll be okay. We're just not seeing anything. We were doing regular cultures as well. We do our own cultures, and about a month after Lucy gave birth, then one day one of our cultures turned bright red, and it was dated May 10th and it was May 23rd, so it was 2 weeks after, and we were like, oh no, don't tell me, this can't be right. And there's all sorts of things that can turn it red. So we gave the culture to Lisa, but in our hearts we knew it was positive. And then we went out with our UV light and checked them, and they all lit up like Christmas trees, unfortunately. So Eric and I were like, all right, let's do this. And we started dipping right away. And about a week later, we got some medication for them. We couldn't give it to the moms because they were still nursing. But we just were like, okay, here we go. We've done this before. We can do it again.
I got an email a couple weeks, I think I did 3 or 4 treatments, saying that her cultures came back and she was negative actually for ringworm. And that was just before she had her babies. So I didn't have to do anything to her babies once they were born.
See, the thing about ringworm, it's not a big deal. The problem is the unknowns. You know, did it get in my house? Do I have it? Does my family have it? Do my own personal cats, do they have it? Is it in this room right now? All it takes is one spore. Are these current foster kittens going to get it? So, you know, those are the fears that always come up. But, you know, even to this day, it's like, okay, you know, did I spray that little corner right there? How many times, you know? So, yeah.
I really bonded with Dinah. I just felt that she was so afraid when she came here, and we just kind of got really attached to each other. And the closer it got to their date to go back to New Beginnings, I just kind of started feeling like, okay, well, I know I'm keeping one of the kittens, but I just can't see myself giving up Dinah too. But I didn't want to be a cat hoarder either. And just start keeping all these cats. So I weighed all my options, and Fig got really sick when she was about 5-6 weeks old. So the other 3 kittens went back, and then it was just Fig and Dinah. And then they were just kind of living in our home, and it just wasn't that big of a deal. It was like 3 cats, and everyone was just kind of doing their own thing. And so we kept her and Fig.
I did see on you know, after I dropped them off back at New Beginnings, I did see that Blue went to a great home, and that was perfect. I mean, it's just so nice to see her, you know, see him go to a forever home.
It's definitely worth it. Treating ringworm kittens, I mean, you look at these kittens, you look at their faces, you see them, it is so worth doing. It's never not been worth it, ever, no matter what comes up. And, you know, New Beginnings just makes it, like I said, so much easier because they are so supportive and able to offer, you know, any help that's needed.
Blue, actually, I kind of grabbed him once and he bit me, so I ended up at urgent care for that. So that was kind of fun, actually. I learned a lot about cats and cat bites and sulfur dips and ringworm. But I do love, you know, when they get their forever home. It's a lot of fun, you know.
They did not have to take on this huge responsibility of saving these lives with the ringworm because they euthanize cats and kittens that come in with ringworm because it's so contagious, and it can really, you know, make or break a shelter in terms of the financial resources that it takes. So for them to take it on and take as many cats as they did, I think just shows the character there.
It was definitely a huge emotional, financial, stressful time, but I wouldn't change it. I'd do it all over again. We currently have Lucy, Monty, Pumpkin, and Ursula left. So there's 4 left in-house. Ursula's made huge strides. She's great. Lucy is cranky, but I love her for how sassy she is, and I feel like we're making headway. Monty did really good in his foster home, so he just needs somebody with patience, and I think Pumpkin as well. I can touch Pumpkin. He doesn't particularly like it, but if anyone's up for a challenge, willing to be patient, because it's truly on their timeline. And of course, you know, it doesn't matter how long it takes here. They're part of the family until somebody comes along for them.